Hi, my name's Tom Cramer. I'm a partner at Cramer Law Group. I'm from Evanston, Illinois. I grew up in a family of six. I have three sisters. My mother was a school psychologist in a local school district. My dad was a commercial actor, so like the kind of guys that tell you about the latest Ford F-150 at the car show. I've pretty much always been in Chicago. Briefly lived in California for a while, where I was a wildland firefighter in Yosemite National Park. I did that for one fire season. I had gotten my EMT license and was assigned to a fire truck in the national park where I manned the fire engine, the wildland engine, the fire truck, and the ambulance. That was a pretty formidable, life-changing experience. I got to fight fires and also take care of emergencies in the park. I came back from that and I worked on some political campaigns for a while where I met Amy, and she was in law school, and I quickly followed after her and then joined Cramer Law Group. I was the second partner that came on after Amy. While Amy started the group, I worked full time and went to law school. After I finished law school, I immediately came on. The firm was pretty well in full swing as an employment law firm. As we started to grow the practice, we started to see a lot more of how society directly affects our practice. For example, before we started, sexual orientation wasn't a protected class in the state of Illinois or in the United States. Since we've been in this practice, it first became a protected class in the state of Illinois, and then shortly thereafter, the Supreme Court ruled it a protected class in the United States. During that time, we've also practiced during the Me Too movement and the outpouring of sexual harassment claims in society. And of course, more recently, COVID, which was a pretty significant event as it related to employment law and employment. Hundreds of thousands of people couldn't work or lost their jobs. Others had to work, but had to figure out ways to work from home with their family. Amy and I have a pretty unique perspective, both as small business owners who had a certain notion of what it was like to work at an office or work from home, and also take care of children. So I think people came to us with advice about how to manage a workforce that was no longer in the office, but also how to manage themselves as someone who didn't have a set hour anymore, that they were working from home and their hours were a little bit more flexible and they worked a little and took care of their kids a little. Employment law has turned out to me, which I didn't expect, to be a very dynamic kind of law. Things are always changing in the news that affect it. Things are always changing at the legislative level that affect it. I think the part that I find so fascinating is the dynamics of employment law, and also still that at the end of the day, what we're doing is dealing with civil rights for the most part, that we are either defending or protecting the civil rights of an employer's workforce or an employee. And that tradition and that goes back to the founding of the country.